So Jamar Chase has had a lot of struggles so far during the preseason. He had a lot of drops in this past week's preseason game against Washington. And there are a lot of people out there on social media saying that the Bengals made a mistake drafting Jamar Chase fifth overall over Penny Sewell. Now, me personally, if I was a Bengals fan, I wouldn't be too concerned about Jamar Chase struggles. Now, Jamar Chase struggles don't just, come from the preseason. Even before the preseason started, there were a lot of reports coming out of training camp that Jamar Chase hasn't really looked all that fantastic during training camp. He's been struggling to create separation, hasn't really been winning those 50-50 balls. So there was already some skepticism that I had about Jamar Chase before the preseason even began. But I don't really pay that much attention to the reports that come out of training camp because I'm somebody who wants to see what happens and what goes down on the field, because there were a lot of people saying that Zach Wilson didn't look great during training camp and that he was struggling. Well, so far this preseason, Zach Wilson has pretty much looked the lights out. But when you look at Jamar Chase, okay, I definitely understand what those reports were saying about him struggling to create separation, and there has been a good amount of inconsistency. But the reason why I'm not too worried is because, first of all, the majority of rookie wide receivers that are drafted in the NFL don't really come out the gate, on fire. They normally pick up a good amount of momentum during the second half of the season. Around week 9, week 10 is where we start to see these rookie wide receivers start to go off. Not everybody's going to bust on the scene like an Odell Beckham or a Justin Jefferson. Most rookie wide receivers don't end up going off until like the second half of their rookie year. And you also got to remember, Jamar Chase hasn't really played in any, organized football matchups until like the preseason just started. Before that, he didn't play in 2020 because he opted out. So last time we really saw Jamar Chase actually play on the field in a real football game for LSU was like 2019. So you guys got to remember, he's still getting back into football form, and he hasn't really played in a real football matchup prior to the preseason in a very long time. So I kind of expected him to kind of struggle coming out the gate, but I definitely think that he is going to improve. And if you're a Bengals fan, I mean, you shouldn't really be shocked. I don't really know what the expectations were that a lot of Bengals fans had for Jamar Chase, but I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys had pretty high expectations for him, since the fact that you drafted him 5th overall and he was the first wide receiver taken off the board. So, I mean, I definitely understand why some Bengals fans may be concerned, but coming from a Steeler fan, I wouldn't be too concerned. Most rookie wide receivers don't really start picking things up until the second half of the season. Now, with Jamar Chase having the drops that he has had in his performances in the preseason, they definitely haven't really been that encouraging. Okay, I have been kind of disappointed with what I've seen out of Jamar Chase. I was hoping to see a little bit more flashes of greatness out of him, showing everybody why he was drafted 5th overall. We really haven't had any of those moments. Even Devontae Smith played a couple of days ago, and although he didn't have crazy numbers that were jumping out of you, you definitely saw the reason why Philadelphia drafted Devontae Smith when they did, with his route running. Like, he had a couple of good plays when he was able to move the chains of Philadelphia. We haven't really saw any of those moments out of Jamar Chase as of yet, to why the Bengals drafted him 5th overall. So I think that his rookie season isn't going to be as good as what a lot of Bengals fans were expecting. I think some Bengals fans were probably expecting him to go for over 1,000 yards, probably have like 6 or 7 touchdowns. But I was expecting him to have like 600, 700 receiving yards, probably around 60, 70 catches, and probably like 4 touchdowns, which isn't a bad season for a rookie wide receiver. That's probably the standard when you draft a rookie wide receiver in the first round. But when you draft a guy like Jamar Chase 5th overall, then of course you expect to have more production out of him during his rookie campaign. But you got to remember, he hasn't really played an official football game prior to the preseason starting since 2019 with LSU. So I'm definitely not surprised that Chase has struggled the way he has, but I definitely think he's going to end up getting back into the form he was. He's still trying to get into the flow of the game. He's still trying to get back into football shape. So Bengals fans, should you be worried? Yeah, a little bit, but I think he's going to end up picking up steam. Let's just wait until the second half of the regular season. He's also reunited with Joe Burrow, so I'm pretty sure him and Joe Burrow, they already have a pretty good connection. Remember, Joe Burrow has yet to play in the preseason so far. The Bengals are taking a lot of cautionary measures with Joe Burrow in terms of bringing him back. He is going to start, but he's not playing in the preseason, so I definitely think when Joe Burrow gets in that QB, that Jamar Chase is definitely going to have a significant amount of improvement. He hasn't really been playing with the greatest QBs as of late during the preseason, so hopefully with Joe Burrow returning, that should reunite him and get him back on the right track, since him and Joe Burrow already have a pretty good connection playing with each other during their time at LSU.